Hi, it's me, Pam. Does this ever happen to you? You pray more, read more scripture, and you're really consistent in your quiet time, but instead of feeling closer to God, you just feel pressure and sometimes even dread. Well, there's an important distinction we all need to understand, and that's the difference between discipline and legalism. They can look very similar from the outside because, well, both involve structure and both involve obedience, but internally they are worlds apart. Confusing the two can just drain the joy right out of our faith. We do need to accept that discipline is not a bad word, though. In fact, it's part of spiritual maturity. In Hebrews, it said that discipline produces righteousness and peace. And because growth never happens accidentally, we need healthy habits to grow, which do require discipline. Things like spending time in prayer, reading scripture, guarding our thoughts, and serving others. But discipline can drift into legalism. Legalism says if I do enough, I'm acceptable. If I don't, I'm not. But you know what? That's not the message of Jesus. Jesus gives clarity in the Gospel of John when Jesus says, "If you love me, keep my commands." Did you notice the order? Love first, obedience second. In 1 Corinthians, Paul even compared spiritual growth with athletic training. So discipline isn't about punishment, it's about direction. But here's where things can shift. Sometimes discipline slowly morphs into legalism, and we don't notice it happening. But legalism isn't about structure, it's about performance-driven identity. It says, if I do everything right, then I'll be acceptable. If I slip, then I failed. The focus moves away from relationship and toward, well, scorekeeping. And this is something Jesus addressed often. He confronted religious leaders who followed rules meticulously while missing the heart of God entirely. And here's the key difference. Discipline draws us toward God when we struggle. Legalism convinces us to hide from him. And scripture reminds us in Ephesians, for it's by grace you have been saved through faith, not by works, so no one can boast. Our standing with God has never been built on our performance and is not maintained by it either. Discipline produces growth over time, steady, grounded growth. On the other hand, legalism might have slipped in if we measure our worth by consistency. Spiritual discipline is a gift. It draws us deeper into our relationship with God. But legalism distorts that gift by turning connection into performance. So here's the encouragement I want to leave you with today. You were loved before you were consistent. You were chosen before you were disciplined. And you were covered by grace before you ever got anything right. Hey, I'd appreciate it if you give this video a like if you see the difference between discipline and legalism. So until next time, bye.